terminal that I've been using for years has been Hyper. It was created by what is now Vercel, used to be called Now. I love Hyper and I had a lot of hopes for it, but it kind of feels like the development for it has been abandoned. So this group right here created this amazing new terminal that feels very modern. And once again, it feels like you're inside a copy of Visual Studio Code when you're working with the terminal. You can see that it has a command palette, so it feels very Visual Studio Code-y, I guess. And there's all these different commands that you can go to right here. You can also do Control R for looking at the previous commands that you have issued. The one thing that it allows you to do is once you start issuing commands, so I have a shortcut called DSK that takes me to my desktop where I can find all my files. Notice that if I type it though, I don't know if you could see this well, if I type that command in here though, it actually looks up previous commands that I have given, and it's given me sort of a potential command that I have typed in before that I can type in again. And notice that it's also a multi-line command. So if you hit the Shift Return, you can type in another command here. So maybe you could do an ls and then do cd maybe here, photos. And so let's just do that. And it's going to execute all those commands in sequence and show you that you're in this current directory. So let's do, again, DSK. And if I want to issue this command, I can just hit the right arrow and it takes, it forwards all those different screens and lets me execute this command if I want to, which is cool. So actually that's the command I already did. I can go up and take a look at the fact that I have a command right here that switches me to my desktop, then switches to the photos folder. And then I have a bash script that essentially lets me create thumbnails from within any folder. So I usually put a bunch of photos in there and I execute this sequence of commands and it does them all in sequence. So I can just hit return here and it's going to run my bash script and generate my thumbnails. And you know, I can now do ls to take a look at what's in that folder. So if you notice, every time you type a command, it goes into a little block and you can navigate up and down these different blocks. And there's also a little sort of 3 dots right here that allows you to do different things within a specific block. So if you type in a bunch of commands, you can do a search within the block, you can do a search, re-input the command, or you can actually copy the output. Sometimes all you're looking for is a specific maybe output of a file. Maybe you're doing some complex pipe commands. And so you can just copy the output, copy the specific command, copy both of them, or do a little search. So there's a lot of other things that you can do with this tool. And I think that you're really going to love this terminal. Now, honestly, I've only had it for a few days. But when I go back into Visual Studio Code, I'm sort of depressed that I have to use the regular terminal, even though it has OhMyZsh installed and I have some additional other things that I love in there. It's just this is just so much superior than what I've used before. And you can see here that it can also be themed. It's a native first browser and you can, let's see, you can do all kinds of cool things. Look like real-time collaboration. So it's almost like they took a version of Visual Studio Code and they kind of made a browser out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if they get bought by somebody because this is so amazing. And if you think about it, I mean, one of the Vercel, again, who used to be Now, got a lot of their start by creating that original browser. Everybody loved it because terminals are a little bit, I don't know, they feel like they were made like 20 years ago. So to see a modern terminal is pretty exciting.